Hello there, Canada. Your favorite goofy British-American outsider is back, and this time we're diving headfirst into the wonderful world of fighter jets. Buckle up, eh? Because things are about to get pricey. Remember that time Canada decided to drop a cool $13.2 billion on some shiny new F-35 fighter jets? Yeah, well, someone apparently forgot to read the room. Our man in Ottawa, Defence Minister Bill Blair, seems to be having second thoughts. Turns out not everyone is thrilled about this massive purchase. Our man in Ottawa, Defence Minister Bill Blair, seems to be having second thoughts. He's poking around for other options and questioning whether Canada really needs all 88 of those fancy planes. Portugal recently pulled the plug on their own F-35 plans, and you know what? He might have a point. Portugal recently pulled the plug on their own F-35 plans, leaving Canada looking a tad lonely in the commitment department. Maybe it's time for a good old-fashioned Canadian reality check, eh? So, let's break it down. The F-35 is a fifth-generation combat aircraft known for its stealth capabilities, advanced avionics, and impressive versatility. But with a price tag that hefty, it's no wonder people are raising eyebrows. Critics argue that the money could be better spent on healthcare, education, or infrastructure. After all, $13.2 billion could build a lot of hospitals or schools. On the other hand, proponents insist that modernizing the Air Force is crucial for national security. They claim that the F-35's cutting-edge technology will keep Canada safe in an increasingly uncertain world. It's a classic debate, security versus social services, and it's not just happening in Canada. Countries around the world are grappling with similar decisions. So, what do you think, Canada? Is the F-35 worth the investment, or should we be looking at other priorities? It's a billion-dollar question mark, and the answer isn't easy. One thing's for sure, this debate is far from over. Stay tuned as we continue to explore the twists and turns of this high-flying saga. This whole F-35 business isn't exactly new territory for Canada. It's more like a messy on-again, off-again relationship that's been dragging on for decades. Back in the early 2000s, Canada was all gung-ho about buying 65 F-35s without even bothering to shop around. Talk about impulsive. But then, in a shocking turn of events, Canada pumped the brakes and decided to hold an open competition instead. They even flirted with the idea of buying some Super Hornets as a temporary fix. Drama, of course, that didn't last long. A trade spat with Boeing threw a wrench in those plans, forcing Canada to scramble for used F-18s from Australia. Finally, in 2022, Canada seemed to make up its mind and settled on the F-35, or so we thought. Now, cancelling this mega deal wouldn't exactly be a walk in the park. The complexities involved are staggering, and the ramifications could be felt for years to come. Remember those financial penalties we mentioned? They aren't just small fines. We're talking about potentially crippling sums that could impact the national budget. Yeah, those are about to get real. The financial burden could be astronomical, affecting not just the government, but taxpayers as well. While the exact amount Canada would have to cough up is still under wraps, experts estimate it could run into the billions. Let's just say it's probably enough to make your eyes water. And it gets worse. The financial penalties are just the tip of the iceberg. Canada has been pouring money into the Joint Strike Fighter program since the 90s, investing heavily in what was supposed to be a game-changing technology. Racking up over $1.8 billion in contracts for Canadian companies, this program has been a significant part of the aerospace sector. Pulling out now would be a huge blow to the industry, potentially destabilizing a sector that employs thousands of Canadians and could cost thousands of jobs. The ripple effect would be felt across the economy, from small businesses to large corporations. So yeah, cancelling the deal is a risky move. It's like walking a tightrope without a safety net. But sticking with it might be even riskier. The decision is fraught with uncertainty and potential pitfalls. The F-35 program has been plagued by delays, cost overruns, and performance issues. These problems have cast a long shadow over the project's future. In other words, it's anyone's guess whether these planes will actually live up to the hype. The stakes are incredibly high, and the outcome remains uncertain. Let's not forget about the folks who actually build these flying machines. Canada's aerospace industry is no small fry. It employs thousands of skilled workers and contributes billions to the economy. This F-35 debacle has put the industry in a tough spot. On the one hand, those juicy contracts are keeping the lights on and the factories humming. On the other hand, putting all their eggs in the F-35 basket could backfire spectacularly if the program goes belly up. It's a classic case of short-term gain versus long-term pain, and right now nobody seems to know which way to turn. Let's take a quick pause. If you have enjoyed the video so far, could we ask for a quick and simple favor? Hitting the like button will help push this video out to a broader audience, and sharing your thoughts below in the comments section will make an even greater impact. Finally, don't forget to subscribe to stay updated on the latest developments in the geopolitical arena. Thanks for watching, and now let's continue. Section 5, Seeking Alternatives, the Gripen on the horizon. Fortunately, it's not all doom and gloom. There are other fish in the sea, or rather other fighter jets in the sky. One promising contender is Saab's Gripen, a sleek Swedish fighter that's been turning heads in the defense world. The Gripen has a few things going for it that the F-35 lacks. For starters, it's cheaper, like way cheaper. It's also more versatile and easier to maintain. And get this, Saab has offered to assemble the Gripens right there in Canada and share all the juicy intellectual property. Now that's what we call a sweet deal. It would create jobs, boost the Canadian economy, and give Canada more control over its own defense technology. What's not to love? Section 6, the kill switch myth, separating fact from fiction. Let's address the elephant in the room, or rather, the kill switch in the cockpit. Rumor has it that the US can remotely disable any F-35 it wants, effectively turning it into a very expensive paperweight. Now, while it's true that the US has a lot of control over the F-35 software and systems, this whole kill switch thing is a bit of an exaggeration. Think of it more like parental controls on your phone. Annoying? Yes. A threat to Canada's sovereignty? Not really. Still, it highlights the potential risks of relying too heavily on another country for your defense needs. Section 7, a new era of tensions, US-Canada relations in flux. Speaking of relying on other countries, let's talk about the current state of US-Canada relations. Remember that special relationship everyone used to gush about? Yeah, it's looking a little less special these days. Trade disputes, diplomatic spats, and differing views on everything from climate change to immigration have put a strain on the relationship. And let's not forget about that whole America First thing. While it's unlikely that things will escalate into a full-blown diplomatic crisis, it's clear that the honeymoon phase is over. And that could have major implications for Canada's defense policy, especially when it comes to relying on American-made weapons systems. Section 8, logistical nightmares, the price of a divided fleet. Now, let's say Canada decides to play it safe and keep some F-35s while also buying some Gripens. Sounds like a reasonable compromise, right? Well, not so fast. Operating two different types of fighter jets isn't exactly a walk in the park. It's more like trying to juggle chainsaws while riding a unicycle. You've got different training requirements, different maintenance procedures, different spare parts, the list goes on. All of this adds up to a logistical nightmare, not to mention a hefty price tag. So, while a mixed fleet might seem appealing at first glance, it's important to consider the hidden costs and complexities it brings. Section 9, the path forward, a balancing act of priorities. So where does that leave Canada? In a position where it must carefully weigh its options and consider the long-term implications of its choices, stuck between a rock and a hard place, that's where. The decision is not just about choosing a fighter jet, it's about defining the future of the nation's defense strategy. There's no easy answer to this F-35 dilemma. The F-35 offers advanced capabilities, but it comes with a hefty price tag and potential maintenance challenges. It's a complex issue with no clear-cut solutions. The government must navigate through a maze of financial constraints, political pressures, and strategic necessities. On the one hand, Canada needs to be fiscally responsible and ensure that taxpayer dollars are being spent wisely. This means scrutinizing every dollar and making sure it delivers value. On the other hand, it needs a strong national defense and reliable allies. A robust military presence is essential for maintaining sovereignty and fulfilling international commitments. And let's not forget about supporting Canadian industry and creating jobs. Investing in defense can also mean boosting local economies and fostering innovation. Ultimately, the decision of whether to stick with the F-35, switch to the Gripen, or find another alternative altogether will come down to a balancing act of priorities. Each option has its own set of advantages and drawbacks, and it's a decision that will have far-reaching consequences for Canada's economy, its security, and its place in the world. The choice made today will echo through the decades, shaping the nation's future. Good luck with that, eh? It's a monumental task, but one that Canada must face head-on.